Today is June 12th and I just want to do a quick update with the scale hives. And the main reason for checking today is I need to add another honey super. There's a good honey flow on now. Okay, our yellow hive weighs 126 and our green hive weighs 121.5. So this yellow hive, like I said in the last video, they're really gaining weight fast. So now's the time I have to make sure they have space up in the honey supers, and I'm gonna go down into the brood chambers and see if they're making any swarm cells. Okay, so it was just 2 days ago that I did that mite monitoring, and at the end of that, the yellow hive, if my memory's right, it weighed 118. So they've gained another 8 pounds in just 2 days. So let's see what's up here. The top honey super, which was the first one I put on, and I put my new ones underneath, is getting full. Frames are full of honey and they're capping a lot of it through the middle, and then how about the outside? Even the outside, second outside, that one's pretty full. Outside frame, they've still got a bit of work to do, but this is a fairly heavy box. And then the newer one, let's just have a quick look in the middle. So there's lots of honey in there, but they're not really capping any of this honey yet. So I'm not too late. If all this honey was capped and all these boxes were full, that would be a bad thing. I'd be too late. As it is now, I think my timing's really good. I'm gonna add another super before they're even thinking about finishing those ones. You know, it's the middle of June now. Really, you can stack up the boxes at this point, and hives like these are going to use them before the end of the year, so it doesn't hurt to stack them on. Okay, and then check out a few frames of brood and see what they're doing down here. Okay, so I've got cups here. They didn't put anything in those cups, but I'm going to keep looking. Okay, I don't see anything else. As far as swarm cells go, that's 4 frames with brood on it now that I've looked at. This will be the 5th frame. Oh, and this one has some. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see, I'll bring this closer to this camera. And at the bottom here, there are definitely some cells. And that one has royal jelly and a little larva in it. So the last thing I want on this really good honey flow is for them to be swarming, because for the next few weeks is when I'm gonna make my most honey of the year. So I'm just gonna focus on preventing these bees from swarming. So since I saw that, I'm going to shake down the other frames and get rid of all those swarm cells. And I should be able to do that quite quickly if I find the queen, which there she is. Right there, she was on the 7th frame across. So I've got her. I'm not going to remove any bees or any brood. I Again, I'm just going to shake the bees off the frames to make sure that I catch any swarm cells that are there and cut them down. Yeah, so when you shake all the bees off the frames, you might notice some that are in some hard to find places. Like I had a couple in the corner of this frame. I wouldn't have seen those unless I really shook the bees. The other thing you'll notice this time of year, even shaking brood frames, is how much nectar comes out of them. Okay, nothing there. Okay, so that's all the frames checked, all swarm cells removed. I can put this queen back and close up this hive. Okay, with the queen excluder on, I put my newest super right on the bottom and just space out these frames. So I like to put my newest empty supers right on the bottom. It's just a matter of preference, but they're already used to traveling up through, and it helps them realize that there's quite a bit of empty space left, and maybe sort of reduce some of that swarming tendency, but I don't know. So the yellow hive's good to go. Let's see what the green hive's up to. It's funny, I said I did one inspection off camera actually, and it would have been a week ago, I think about a week ago now, and that yellow hive wasn't showing any swarm cells at that time. And now they've started up again. After 2 weeks ago, we did find an egg with a we did find an egg in a cup in that one. Oh, I should show you these honey supers. This top one, they're just starting to cap and fill. But they've actually, in the top one, they've got a couple empty frames to the outside. And this one, looks like they've got a couple empty frames out on this side, but the middle is filling up, and actually there's some capped honey in the middle of this one. Oh, not really capping that side, they're just starting to cap this side. So this was that hive. It still has honey out on the outside here. And there's a cup. Okay, that was the start of a swarm cell there as well. Okay. That's all I need to see to try and quickly find this queen. There she is. That's lucky. My third frame I look at. Queen's right there. Saves me from shaking her. Maybe I'll set this frame aside for a minute. Do these outside ones. Okay, that's the last frame. So, yeah, I only found two or maybe three cells that actually did have really young larvae in them. So they're not building things up too quickly. Like I said, it's about a week between these visits, and there's no signs of capped swarm cells or anything really far along the lines. So it's not great to see them continue to build them week after week, but that's why we manage our bees. I think a bee stung me if you saw me looking at my finger there as I put in that last frame. I think one got me in the side there. I didn't even see the stinger. I must have pulled it out. Okay, so that's good. Put these back on. And now I'm confident that they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Okay, so I don't know, I might have to start showing you these weights from the back over here. So the yellow hive was, what, 126? So it should be about 140. The supers must weigh a little under 15 pounds. It's 139.5 now. And this one, 134 for a green hive. So that's it for today. We're in the middle of a good honey flow. As I understand the area where I keep bees, this still isn't our peak honey flow. Usually I get the strongest weight gains happening the last week in June and the first week in July, because that coincides with things like basswood, milkweed. All the clovers are still going. Sometimes I get lucky with alfalfa, and also at that time, about a month from now, there'll be canola flowering. So things are going really well right now, and hopefully this weather keeps up. They keep gaining weight, and I'll see you in the next video.